Hey superstars, welcome to another workout. This is going to be part one. We are again starting with something more core focused, moving on to the back of the legs, front of the legs, and this time we even have calves involved. So make sure you have all of your equipment laid out for easy access. If you have dumbbells, great. If you have plates, awesome. If you have bands, super versatile. These are the looped variety, so it's one continuous loop, but I know a lot of people will have the variation where there's a handle on the end, and that's just as good. So it's just a matter of kind of adapting to what you have. Heavy water bottles, home equipment, grab a pet, grab a child, grab whatever you can. Stereo speakers I'm looking at, whatever works, we'll use it. If you don't have anything, completely fine as well, okay? So remember the warm-up, always go back to the warm-up video because we want to make sure we're not going to hurt ourselves, and do that before you get started. The first exercise is more core focused. We are starting with a V-sit. Again, I'm going to go show you variations that you can do with other equipment. So whatever you can do, we're going to do. The most basic variation is going to be simply sitting with a tall chest, leaning back until your heels are off the ground. It's not about the height of the leg so much as it is counterbalancing yourself. So just leaning back, keeping that chest pulled. Very easy to slouch, which we don't want. You're not the Hunchback of Notre Dame, you're way sexier than that. So pull the chest up, remember the string that sits here. Pull the chest towards the ceiling, shoulders down and back. If you need to use your fingertips to help you balance. And that's step one. You're just going to hold that. Now, if you want a challenge, and I know some of you do, you're going to cross your arms across your chest. Head stays still. This is the toughest part. The head will want to turn with you. We're simply rotating as far as you can, head still, legs still, before we go to the other side, keeping that chest as tall as possible. Rotating as far as you can. One side may be easier than the other. That's completely normal. Slow and steady is the game here. It's not about how fast you can go. Now, if you feel this through the hips, I must say that's also completely normal. Some people even feel it through the quads, but we do want the core on, okay? How to do this with the equipment that you have. This one's a tricky one to do with bands. If anyone thinks of a way to do it with a band, let me know. Dumbbell is gonna be easier, or potentially a kettlebell as well. I like to kind of cross the dumbbell in my arms, and it's simply the same again. You can do this just stationary, just holding the weight, or of course you can cross and rotate as we did before. Not rotating quite as far with the weight. This time it's a little bit heavier. And so that's how you do it with a dumbbell. Probably not a good idea to wear a white croc when you're holding black weights against you, but we learn. If you have a kettlebell or a plate, same thing. A kettlebell, you're probably going to want to hold the handles. So just pretend it's a kettlebell. You're going to be holding the handles, and you would rotate like so. Please do not do this. This then becomes an arm exercise where the focus becomes the bicep. This is not supposed to be a bicep exercise, ladies. So simply hold it, keep the elbows tucked in, and rotate. If you do in fact have a plate, just like with the dumbbell, rotating, chest tall, hold it in. You can see my legs are not that far off the ground, and they don't need to be. And that's your first exercise. From here, we are going to go into something for the back of the legs. Few different options. This is a deadlift, okay? Kind of like the bent over row we did yesterday. We want to be nice and tall through the chest. 1 second. Tall through the chest. Ribs pulled towards the hips, core engaged. Now, if you're doing it with a band, we're standing on it. If you have the bands with the handles, this also works just fine. Okay? Now from here, we're hinging at the hips. Remember the tubes of toothpaste? We squeeze the toothpaste out of the tubes, and we're engaging the glutes to pull ourselves upright, hips forwards, shoulders back, okay? So core on, chest up, strong in the back, hinging forwards until the hands are roughly outside of the knees, still with some tension. Now, if you've lost tension in your band, step out further, step out wider. Glutes on to pull you back up. Okay, so this is step one with the band. As I said, it works if you have handles. Now, because this is lower body, you can also use a thicker band for more resistance, okay? How to do with dumbbells? You simply hold the dumbbells outside of the body. So, grab your dumbbells carefully. Feet hip width apart, feet nice and straight. Chest is pulled up, shoulders down and back. Core is on. So we don't want to start like this. That's Friday night, remember? Ribs pulled into the hips and we hinge forwards. You may feel a stretch in the back of the legs. Glutes on to pull you forwards. Yeah? Hinge, 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 stretch the back of the legs. Glutes on, stand up tall. We do not really need to go further than this point. That does not make it a better exercise, okay? So kind of the mid-shin, just past the kneecaps, depending on your mobility. No point going lower if you're doing this. Again, you're not Quasimodo. We are bringing sexy back, okay? And sexy back is not a hunchback, by the way. Yeah? Of course, if you have kettlebells, you would hold the kettlebell handles. It would be the same motion. And then plates, same thing, one in each hand. If they have a grip, if you have a big plate, let's imagine this is a 20-kilo plate and you just have one, you would hold it by the edges and you would do a very similar motion. Keeping the plate near the body, squeezing the glutes on the way up, okay? So if you have one big plate, or if two is just a little bit too heavy, this is what the technique looks like. Nice stretch in the back of the legs. This is not a squat, yo. We're not dropping. Very different motion. Focus on the hip angle getting smaller and then larger with a very gentle bend to the knees. So they do bend, not as much as a squat. Okay. Third exercise, a little bit more front of the leg focused. We are going onto a split squat. So, similar to the lunges, but the feet stay still. Nice tall posture. We want to be on the toes of the back foot, all the way up on the toes. Hips nice and straight. Make sure this back hip is not turning out. It may like to do that. So keep that forwards. I want to keep the knees, well actually both knees in line with the hips. So what I mean by that is, we want to ensure this knee is not turning away from the body as you go down. We also want to make sure that this knee is not coming across the body. Also incorrect. So if you have mirrors or if you can film yourself, that's going to be really helpful. Knees align with the hips. We go down, folding at that back knee and pushing with both legs to come back up. Gentle bend in each knee at the top. Not completely locked down, slight bend, okay? Come down, knee comes under the hips, and we push back up. Yeah, strong core, and push through that big toe to help you balance. I'll show you from the side. We want about 90 degrees at the knees as you come down. So again, not shifting your weight forwards. This is not a yoga pose, wrong class, okay? So 90 degrees, and push. You'll feel it through the back, the front of the back leg and the back of the front leg. So this glute should be working whilst this quad is working. Now, body weight will be enough of a challenge for some people. If you want to do it with a band, if you have one available, again, you put the band on like a sash because you're a queen. You assume the position, same deal. Now, because this is a leg exercise, you can probably get away with a thicker band. So if you want more resistance, more of a challenge, now's the time. Yeah? And then of course you would swap legs. If you have weights, few options. We can go a goblet position where you cup the top, elbows stay in, same deal, down and up, of course pushing with both legs on the way up. And if you have two, you can hold a weight in each hand. It's about adjusting the resistance to your strength levels. So, if you have two weights, you're in extra luck, more torture for you, and this is how we roll. Yeah? If you can gently touch the ground at the bottom, awesome. If not, don't stress, go to where you can. Okay, that's your third exercise. Now for the calves, you probably want something to hold on to. So I'm going to balance myself here, feet under the hips nice and straight. From here we are straightening through the ankle as much as you can, pushing up into the toes as far as possible, keeping the knees relatively straight. They're not designed to bend here, before lowering yourself back down. Coming up, squeezing through the lower portion of the leg and back down. Now, if you have a step or stairs in your house and you can put your feet on the edge of a step, get that extra range of motion, get a nice stretch at the bottom of the movement, bonus points for you. Strong core, again, watch that we're not extending through the back, ribs to the hips. And if you have weight, this can be weighted. You would just simply hold one weight with a non-stabilizing hand. So for me, that's this one here. Same deal, we come up, hold it for a second, down slowly. Really feel the squeeze. Feel the burn, because these will definitely burn. And this is not about going as fast as possible. This is about control, yeah? That's your fourth exercise. So after this, you have a drink, you have a little bit of rest. You go back to the V-sit, adding the rotation if you can, using weights if you can, before going onto the deadlifts, the split squats, and the calf raises as we just did. Take a rest again. We'll go through that a few rounds before we go into part 2. See you in the next video.